Yo, what's up? Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm Jay Eskar, and today I'm going to show you how I made my FUZE Skrillex ISO remix. This is not an official remix. I just saw that Skrillex posted the stems online, so I thought I'm just going to make a remix. A lot of you really liked it, and if you have not heard it, let me play it for you real quick. First step I did was actually make drums for this. So the drums start off like this. This is what the kick sounds like. Very punchy kick. You can actually find this kick at store.jayesker.com. It's on my 100 signature kicks sample pack. We're currently running a Black Friday deal for 71% off store-wide. So the sample pack that includes this kick is only $2 right now. The offer is only going to be here till December 6th, which is almost now. So go check out store.jayesker.com so you can actually get this kick. Okay, besides this kick, I have a couple rim shots. So the first one sounds like this. And we have another one, another clap sounds like this. And then I got another one, sounds like this. I think I got another one which sounds like this. And actually, I added a snare, really short snare, sounds like this. Really, really short. Now, I have two hi-hats for this, two open hi-hats. One of them sounds like this. Actually, quite open. And then I got another one just to help out, I think, those high frequencies. But that was not enough, right? I needed to add something extra to this drum. So I added a stump, something to keep the energy up. So it sounds like this. And then I thought, bro, that's still not enough. You need to add something else. So I added a rumble bass. And in order to do that, I added a serum with some noise, literally white noise, simple, not even stereo, just mono. And I just played it again and again and again. If you look at the effects, I'm literally just getting rid of the lows, so below 91, and I'm getting rid of the highs above 240, something like that. So this is just a bandpass, basically. And if you listen to it, and now, something important is that this has a sidechain using Shaperbox. Without Shaperbox, my rumble would have sounded like... With it... So this is making things, flow better. It makes it groovy. So this is the reason why I'm adding a sidechain. Now... These hi-hats are longer than I usually do them. And the reason for that is just because this time, closed small hi-hats didn't flow well with the drop. It needed a little bit more energy. So the longer the hi-hats, the more energy. That's the rule, okay? Now, so what else? I added some extra sounds. I added an extra rumble. And this is just to add sub bass because remember, we don't have any sub bass on the main rumble. This is just the way it looks like it's just bass, no sub. If we play this together, anybody watching this would probably say bro, that's too much. But when you put everything together, it just makes sense. Right now it sort of doesn't. There's too much, but I'm never ever playing the drum solo with this. So at the end of the day, remember, the idea to make a good song is to make a good song, not to make different good elements. Everything has to sound good together. That's why I don't care if it sounds good solo or not. It should sound good overall. So that's my mentality when making a song. Besides that, I added some tension sauce, or high players, I would call it. This is a NASCO sample. It sounds like this. FUZE also has a bunch of background samples. So one of them is actually this one. And then this one, which is a vocal. And then we get an ARP over here. It sounds like... If you ask me, the only thing I'm doing to this samples is basically just adding a sidechain. And in order to add the sidechain, I'm using Compactor, basically my favorite sidechain right now, literally free plugin, and it sounds insanely good. Like, why not use it, right? I'm using this one with a 36 milliseconds release. And then I'm adding a couple bass shots from ISOXO. One of them sounds like this. Then the other one sounds like, and that's literally what I'm adding as a background, just to help out the main basses. Now, in order for me to make the main melody that I end up using on the result of this remix, this is literally what I did, okay? I put this at the end of a project, sort of like this. And I started going through all of the sounds. I just checked everything, bro. And I was looking for sounds that I could. And I found this sound specifically after, you know, doing this over and over and over again for 1,000 times. I found this sound that sounds like this. Basically, I looped this, but I then looped this again. And it sort of sounds like a chord. So I tried adding a couple layers in there. Also this one as well. And also this one as well. Like, but I couldn't get it to sound elegant. Like, if no matter what I did, adding chords to this part of the job just made it sound cheap and cheesy. So basically what I did is find this spot. And then with the drums, it already sounded fantastic. Now, if you play the original track, it would normally be like this. So the drop would normally start with this growl. But if you put it all the way here, you'll find that there's a bass around here. Like this one. I felt like that was the best sound in the drop. So I thought, I'm gonna start my version of this track with that bass, because it just hits you like really hard. So we start the drop with this. Basically this sound. So when you put it together. Okay. Wait. I'm helping out the first bass with this bass. Very similar. When you play them together. Something very important as well is that we're adding a endless smile automation. That's basically just bringing in some reverb sometimes. That way we can keep the energy going and keep the drop interesting, basically. But that's pretty much how I started the remix. Then I started playing around with different rhythms, you know? And then I found a specific sound that I really liked, and I repeated 3 times. You can actually see here. And it's this sound specifically. It just felt like the right sound to come back to. But it lacked harmonics, and that's exactly why I added this basses, which I showed you earlier. So if you play the drop. So it makes sense, right? It's sort of like going back home. Like, that's how I feel like this sound like. For the next sounds, I reused this side. The little I reused it again. And then again. And then again. But then I cut some of the main like lead laser kind of sound. So if you actually put this up here, you'll notice how this melody, it has this part of the melody has sidechain. It sounds like, it sounds cool, but it doesn't have transient in the beginning. So since they gave us the stems, but they forgot to remove sidechain, I had to simply just copy this part and make sure that I was not playing any bass that had sidechain on, because it sounded horrible or not flowing well, you know. But we ended up getting this. And then we come into this melody. If you actually play this, you'll know that the melody was simpler before. This is what the melody sounded like before. More like ding, 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 ding. And I wanted to add some of my touch. I wanted to add some sort of change. So I duplicated this bass. I made this one unique, the one before, and I made it lower, but for 2 semitones. So essentially changing the melody a tiny bit, sort of doing the same process of dum dum, you know, but adding a touch of what I usually would do on my music. So now the melody ended up sounding like. And then there's something in the back that you can hear that sort of sounds like old Skrillex, or so I've been told. If you listen to Kill Everybody or something like that, you notice some of these vocal chops. And then this one as well. The way I achieved this vocal chops was basically just cutting the intro of the original track. Sounds like this. I really wanted this drop to sound like old electro house, or like old but new, you know, because the rumble we were not using before, and now it's part of like the new sound, right? So I mean, I basically just cut that part into something that I felt fitted, and also took it up some a little bit, some decibels up, like 3.6 decibels. And if you actually look at it, I'm just adding a sidechain to it. I try to do some stuff like using chroma to change the tone of it, etc. But there was nothing needed. Like if I wanted this to sound like Skrillex, I could just keep it like that. So I would have been able to keep it louder. So something like. I should have, maybe, because I can barely hear it right now. Then I put the purple Lamborghini WAP. And I mean, that's also part of the track. And I figured it was a good idea to put it there because it sounds similar to this one. Like it's just a WAP, you know? So, and then from this part, I pretty much recreated the same, but I changed it. I changed the sample, the second sample, to a higher note sample. So instead of, see? And then from the next part of the drop, as soon as it starts, I also repeated this part, but I automated the pitch, making it go like do 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 do. And that's super simple. All I did was simply click on pitch and then change it. I made it go up 5, but at the end I just made it up go like 217 cents, as it says there on the left. But yeah, I mean, that's basically how the drop was created from the start. Something very important about this drop is all of the effects in the background. Like they're so unseen, you know? You listen to this song and you think like, oh, the rumble doesn't matter. Like none of this matters. But let me play you the drop without any like rumble or background sounds. Like it sounds like. Now let me add everything. Rumble and hype sounds in the back. Having background ear candy, hype layers keeps the energy up all the time and makes everything sound glued together. So that's why I went ahead with that. What else is going on? I mean, I added some extra sounds, some extra hi-hats. And I also added this one. So when you add them together, and for this part, I also changed the style of the melody. And this is basically a completely new drop. It's following a different rhythm. And I also added this fuse bass, extra fuse layer, just to make it change. Listen to this. And then last but not least, because honestly, there's not that much to the drop. We can go actually to the second drop now. The second drop sounds like this. And now, in order to make this melody, I combined some of these parts on the intro with chroma on. So with this on, but I'm only using it on the beginning of this part of the drop. So if you listen to this, it originally sounded like, but I wanted to prepare people for the melodic part. So it sounds like this now. And as you can see here, side on the automation, I automated it to be up for like 3 bars and then down, and then it goes up and up and up and up as we approach the drop. And the reason for that is because I wanted to prepare people for this melodic drop. So if you're wondering, this melody, this part of the melody sounds like super sauce. I found it at the end, like that's the last sound on their second drops, but I decided to use it in a different way. Same first bass hit in the drop, but then the sort of super saw comes in. And then I wanted to actually make this drop feel more like an old, again, Kill Everybody, like those Skrillex old tracks. So what I did was just replicate the same bass line over and over again, like creating a new rhythm. And if you put the bass line that I added, it sounds like. Making this remix was basically a game of adding my own groove, my own twist to this, and that's how I made this remix. Basically, there's one last thing I'd like to mention, and that is I added my own chords to this. So originally, the song sounds like this. I figured this was an opportunity for me to add some extra chords. And I opened up Creator Audio, faded keys, it sounds. They sound like this. And I made a chord progression that sounds like this. And I'm basically repeating that over and over again. When you play it together, actually, there's an R playing in the background. It just sounds like. I just figured it helped, you know? When you play these together, I think it sounds really emotional. So it took it to another level of emotion, or actually, it sort of changed the emotion. But check this out. When I listened to this as well, something that I'm remembering is that I felt like this was a little bit too slow. And if I ever wanted to play this live, I figured like this might get boring to people that don't know the song. If someone knows this song, they're going to be like, nah, 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 nah. Like they're going to sing it live, of course. But if somebody doesn't know this track, what can I do? So I added some hi-hats right from the start. So now the breakdown sounds like. And again, this is not supposed to be like super loud or super in your face. It's just supposed to be there to add rhythm, to add group. So that's pretty much it. I added some extra impacts. Then I added some risers, more risers, some snares, more snares. And then also a sort of like snare as well, because I always hear Skrillex adds this sort of reggaeton rhythm on the build-ups, always. So I added the same thing. What else can I tell you guys? My remix is out now, not officially, but Skrillex or ISO, if you're watching this, it doesn't hurt to release it, right? A lot of people are already listening to it. They like it. I'm down to make 100 more reels for this if we release it. I'll upload a video about this remix every day for 3 months. That's what I can offer. But yeah, I seriously can't get over it. Honestly, I'm hoping you guys learned something. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed the video. I'm doing this with a lot of love. I hope I can make another video after this. I already uploaded another video showing you how to make my newest song Out of Place. Now I'm showing you this one, and that's honestly a great start because I posted a vlog 3 days ago. So we're pretty much like rolling. We're getting on it with YouTube, okay? I'm honestly Very excited to be here. As always, if you want to support the channel, go check out store.jayeskar.com. We currently have a 71% off Black Friday deal, and it's over on December 6th. So it might be tomorrow or in 2 days. I don't know when I'm posting this video, but just know that we have a great offer, which you should check out. I have a ton of courses, sound banks, kick samples, like some free guides in there even. Like, bro, go check out store.jayeskar.com. I'm sure you're gonna find exactly what you need to level up your next production. All right, send you a big hug. I'm Jay Eskar, and this was another video. I'm so excited, bro. What the hell?